My friend S once had a pet squirrel when he was at primary school. He adored it and looked after it well. But one day while he was out, the squirrel apparently managed to open the cage on its own and escaped. He searched every room in his house but couldn't find it. He lived on the fifth floor of an apartment block. Maybe his squirrel fell from the balcony and died? He went outside and searched the ground below the balcony but found no dead body of a squirrel or other such things. He then returned home and searched more, but it was useless. He wondered if his squirrel fell from the balcony but somehow managed to survive and ran away. For the next week or so, he looked everywhere, both inside and outside home, but it seemed his squirrel was lost for good. He was on the verge of giving up when one day he found a large envelope inside the post. Usually, all mails for the residents would be put in the post boxes in the ground floor hall, so the fact that there was an envelope inside his house's post box meant that someone had brought it in person. S was curious and opened the envelope immediately. And what he found inside, and it was the only thing in it, was a bushy tail of a squirrel. And S was quite sure that the tail belonged to his squirrel. Who did this? Was it somebody from the neighborhood? Why was there only the tail in the envelope? What happened to the rest of the body? How did the person who gave him the envelope know that the squirrel belonged to him? S never found out the answers. All he could do was cry and bury the tail. This happened last weekend. I don't usually go out very much, but that day I couldn't sleep and had to go to the emergency hospital so I could get some sedatives. It was about 2 after midnight. On my way home, riding my bike past the park, I heard a scream come out of the public toilet. I then saw a white car left idling nearby and I got scared and quickly rode away. The next morning, I went to the public toilet and found in there torn stockings and panties, and somehow one high-heel shoe had been left on the floor. I wondered what had happened, but found no story relating to it on the newspaper. That night, I couldn't sleep again and took the sedatives I got from the day before. And as I just sat in my room doing nothing, I started thinking about the last night incident again. Looking back, that was really stupid of me. For a reason I can't explain, I found myself in the empty park again. I was scared to go near the toilet, so I just watched it sitting on my bike. Then it happened. Suddenly, a car stopped behind me and 3 men got out. I tried to run away, but they dragged me inside their car and then took me to a place that looked like a warehouse. It seemed there was some sort of gathering going on in there, and at the further end of the room, a naked woman sat crying. Soon, they thrust a towel in my mouth and pushed me to the floor. And then, I was rearranged by one man after another. The sedatives soon started taking effect, and my memory is hazy about what happened towards the end. But I think it was quite a while before I was released, and when I woke up in the morning, in my room, I felt blood and a huge amount of semen flooding out of my private part. My stomach still hurts, even now. I used to have a boyfriend, but we kept our relationship a secret. When my boyfriend died of AIDS in June this year, all his friends became strangers. I too stopped seeing him the moment he was admitted to the hospital. But probably I have it too. Recently, I keep having a symptom similar to a cold, just like my boyfriend when he was alive. The men who reared me last week have all probably been infected. They deserve it. I'm still 22. I want to live more. When I stepped out of the tube station, it was raining heavily outside. I opened my umbrella and started walking, but something was wrong. The atmosphere was somehow very unpleasant. Strange. Every single person I walked past didn't have an umbrella over them. Everyone was silent and looking grim, and they walked on, all facing the same direction. Then suddenly, a taxi stopped by, and the driver put out his hand and beckoned me to come over. I gestured to him that I didn't need a taxi, but the taxi driver said, "Come on, get in." He was so insistent that I had to give in. Besides, I wanted to get away from this unpleasant atmosphere. Later, the driver pale-faced said to me, "Well, when I saw you walking as if you were trying to avoid bumping into people on an empty street, I thought I should help you." A man was taking pictures of himself using the self-timer on the Polaroid camera. After taking a few pictures, he noticed a shadow in the corner of one picture. He turned around, but there was no one behind him. There was only himself in the room. He took one more picture, and in it, he saw a strange man standing behind him. But when he turned around, there was no one there, as before. He then took yet another shot, and this time the picture showed the same stranger raising a knife high in the air, ready to strike him. He stopped taking pictures immediately, but who knows what would have happened if he had shot sequence photographs. This happened a few years ago when I was camping by Lake Honshu. In the middle of the night, as we sat around the fire, I heard a woman scream from the direction of the lake. "Help! Anyone!" I turned my head towards the lake and saw a woman drowning in it. I jumped to my feet, thinking I must help her quickly. I was about to throw myself into the water when my friend said, "What are you doing?" He tried to pull me back. "What am I doing? We've got to help her." I replied, but he said, "Cool your head down and look again. You know she's very far from us, but it's pitch black. How is it possible that we can see her face so clearly?" His words made me look towards the lake again. Then I realized the woman had stopped struggling in the water and was now staring steadily at us. But the water was too deep for anyone to stand in, and as my friend said, it was pitch black around us. Yet I could see every detail of her face. Her face looked strangely luminous, although the light from our fire was too faint to reach that far. Totally freaked out, we immediately packed everything up and left. We tried not to look towards the lake while we packed, but I could feel her eyes following our every move. I swear, I'll never go back to that place again. "We're gonna take ghost photos," we announced, and boldly made a trip to a haunted place. There were 4 of us, 4 stupid guys, in the group, and with a digital camera and mobiles in hand, we took pictures of every suspicious-looking corner of the place. On coming home, we immediately checked all the pictures on my computer, but not even one of them had captured the faintest shadow of a ghost, and we took nearly 100 of them, lol. In desperation, I used a group photo with 4 of us, all stupid looking in it, and using Photoshop, superimposed this really scary ghost face on top. A fake ghost photo, successfully produced. I showed it to another friend, and he looked at it and said, Yo, this is for real, man." He then went pale. "Idiot, lol." "Are you my mother?" I was waiting at the pedestrian crossing when a man next to me suddenly spoke to me. I was only a 20-year-old college student at the time, and I'd had no memory of ever having a child in my life. Moreover, the man looked well over 30. Taken aback, I replied, "No, I'm not someone you're looking for." He looked really surprised when I said it. It was as if he didn't understand why I would tell him such an obvious lie. His reaction surprised me. As soon as the traffic light turned green, I quickly walked away. I might sound rude, but he looked like someone who was mentally disabled, with his large staring eyes and creased shirt, and a small yellow bag that slung across his chest. That was my first encounter with him, and I would see him many more times over the next few years. From then on, the man would always be waiting for me at the same place where we first met, and he would always ask me the same "Are you my mother?" question. It was uncomfortable, but he would go away as soon as I replied no. He seemed harmless enough, and I didn't feel a need to go and report it to the police or do anything like that. However, when later on he started hanging around my college, I had to make things clear to him. I remember telling him severely that I never wanted to see him again, and that I found him disgusting. That seemed to have put him off, and after that, he didn't appear to me for a long time. Soon, I graduated from the college in Tokyo and moved back to my hometown. About a year later, I got a call from a friend in Tokyo. Guess what happened? I saw that stalker of yours near the college, and he asked me, "Where's my mother?" I got freaked out and just ran away. Hearing that only made me think, oh yeah, I remember that weird guy. I thought it was all in the past and it had nothing to do with me anymore. But on the Mother's Day in the following year, I found one withered carnation lying at the front door of my house. Immediately, I thought, it's him, and got really scared. I told my dad about it and we decided to go to the police together. But of course, the police wouldn't take us seriously. After all, nothing harmful had been done. However, I felt very uneasy. Then another few months had passed, and one night it was snowing heavily. I was walking along a road when a car slipped and I got caught up in a pileup. I got knocked out of consciousness for a moment, and the next thing I knew, I was sandwiched between a car and a fallen tree. I couldn't move at all and my whole body hurt, but in the confusion that followed, no one was able to hear my cries for help. A fire started close by, and I thought this was the end of me when I heard the familiar voice calling, "Mother? Mother?" It was that guy. Before I knew, I was crying out, "I'm here, help, I'm right here." He seemed to have been involved in the accident too, since he was bloody all over. Plowing his way through the thick snow, he came over and pulled me out. Now I saw him properly for the first time. I noticed his injuries looked worse and more painful than mine. But in spite of all this, he only looked at me and smiled. "Are you my mother?" he asked me again. An unnameable emotion welled up inside me, and I only managed to utter, "Yes, yes." I started crying my eyes out, but when I wiped my tears and looked up again, he was not there anymore. In just a brief moment, he had disappeared. That was the last I saw of him. I haven't laid my eyes on him for years now. I still don't know what he really was, but I don't think he was a ghost or that type of thing. Even now, whenever it snows, I find myself thinking about him, my son, whose name I will never know.
Big up to all my peoples. I done dug into my bag of tricks, came up with some different skits. Not your average mafia, I be on some different shit. You know I'm pimping shit that make you use your mind. So if you can fill in the blanks, do it when it's time. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Feel like I'm in hell, but I wish I wasn't. Yeah, you got it, now knock it while I rock it. I stick plugs in the socket and money in my. Yo, I get psychotic when you try to diss my staff. No props for you.